Welcome back. Now we go to the continuing soap opera. We've been calling it a telenovela. It seems to fit. That is the bedroom life, supposedly, of the former CIA director David Petraeus, former Army general. He'll be back in the spotlight tomorrow, center stage, when he testifies behind closed doors to Congress about his investigation into the 9/11 attacks in Benghazi, Libya. Now, we don't yet know if lawmakers will ask Petraeus about his affair or his resignation, but we do know, by the way, that the CIA will be conducting their own internal probe about that. We do know lawmakers will be pushing to learn, though, much more about the critical hours and days and even weeks in the aftermath of the Benghazi attacks. Okay, but keep going here with Petraeus and more specifically what is going on as it relates to the scandal. Now, he hasn't spoken much, certainly in public, not certainly on camera. Instead, Petraeus spoke privately with HLN anchor Kira Phillips, who then repeated his comments on air. Phillips reporting that Petraeus insisted he had never passed classified information to Paula Broadwell and that he has never wavered on classification information ever. Now, we'll call that the Time magazine portion of the Petraeus interview. Then we got the National Enquirer part about the affair and the scandal. Petraeus reportedly saying, "Oh my God, I'm in shock. I'm sick about this. You know, what the hell happened?" Phillips saying Petraeus sought to do the honorable thing in response, and that was to come forward. He was very clear that he screwed up terribly, it was all his fault, and that he felt fortunate to have a wife who is far better than he deserves. Obviously, he's taking it really hard. She went on to say he knows he made a big mistake, end quote. Thankfully, I'm done reading that. Okay, also today, new dirt about the FBI agent who investigated this thing, and basically, after feeling stonewalled, this led to all this stuff coming public, and whose own behavior now is under question. And yet another tabloid-sounding story, the agent is 47-year-old Fred Humphreys. Humphreys, he got the case when Tampa socialite Jill Kelly complained that she was being threatened over her relationship with Petraeus. Sounds like something on a schoolyard. Well, that led Humphreys to Paula Broadwell and eventually to, yes, General Petraeus. Officials say Humphreys was taken off the case after becoming obsessed, reportedly, and emailing a shirtless photo of himself to Kelly. I won't even tell you the rationale for why he did that. But Humphreys' lawyer says that he was never assigned to the case, that the photo was just a joke, and that it was Humphreys' desire for justice that led him to tell House Minority Leader Eric Cantor about Petraeus and no one else. Okay, to use a very popular term, it's a hot mess. Congressman, I come to you and I say, hold on a second here. Why is an agent, whether he was on the case, wasn't on the case, why isn't an agent going outside of protocol and going directly to members of Congress to say, this isn't going up the flagpole as fast as I want or as far as I want you guys to look into it? Does that stuff happen in Washington?
Oh yeah, it happens. You know, it's really an amazing story. First off, it's not unusual when someone's done an investigation and people don't think it's as big a deal as the person doing the investigation, that they don't like it, and they sometimes, you know, want to suggest that it happened for the wrong reasons. It might have happened for the right reasons. And at any rate, he shouldn't have gone to Eric, the majority leader.
And Eric Cantor, to his credit, turned it over directly to the FBI, who said...
why shouldn't he have gone to a congressional source?
Well, I think he should have gone to more than one. I think it should have been bipartisan.
Oh, fine. I thought you meant he shouldn't have gone to a member of Congress.
Well, why should they?
Of course he shouldn't have gone to a member of Congress.
You remember Watergate?
Yeah.
What would have happened if there hadn't been sources in the administration talking to reporters and to other people when there was wrongdoing
Let me play devil's advocate,
agency?
Richard, and
That's
say,
why you have
if you have investigations that people don't like the outcomes of, they then void basically confidentiality and they go directly to whatever lawmaker they think is best suited to push it along, political agendas all attached.
It is a safety valve. Whistleblowing is a safety valve. I don't like it in this case. I don't disagree with you. But the notion that we got to observe protocol, protocol kills in certain cases.
I don't know, Dom, I like it.
This is not whistleblowing. This is a man who was infatuated with the subject that gave him the information. And so he was going to do anything to curry favor with this woman. That's ridiculous. I mean, and he should be fired on the spot for what he did. His career should be over.
Here's the other part that I don't get. Andrew, Eric Holder reportedly said, hey, never came to my desk. They're following protocols that never would get elevated all to the top of justice. I don't buy it. You buy that?
You know, we don't have any evidence that concretely says that he was. I mean, we're starting to get people saying, I think he might have, or there are reports that people are. I don't know, and I think this is one of the areas where the investigation is going to go.
In the world of CYA, that is also Washington, in a million years, do you think that there could be a probe that, whether intentionally or otherwise, whether it started there or not, went all the way to the CIA director and going through his emails, that the head of the Justice Department wouldn't know about?
It's hard for me to imagine that. I mean, there's so many elements to this. First off, I don't like the idea of the FBI investigating the sexual habits of government employees, so I don't like that part of it. But then I don't like the fact that somehow the director of the CIA, and it appears that this relationship started, I mean, the bad part of the relationship started when he was director, would think that somehow he could get away with it. I don't like the idea that he could potentially then be blackmailed. I mean, there are a lot of parts to it I don't like.
There's nothing about it to like. The question is, when you have concerns like this, what are the rules by which we investigate and play? There was no criminal conduct. There was no security breach, according to the FBI. At that point, if you want to have the FBI's head gossiping, which is what it would be, about somebody else's behavior, you're back in the days of J. Edgar Hoover.
Exactly.
That's no good.
Well, that also leads to the question that I have over this, which is where we're trying to get out of this investigation. We're trying to make sure that national security wasn't compromised and stop it from potentially being compromised in the future, or is there, obviously there's a political angle to this.
Well, apparently they did the due diligence. They didn't find it, but some agent decided he didn't like the answers he was getting, so he pushed it along, and there we go as to where we are right now. It might have been that they started this for all the right reasons. They didn't find the smoking gun like you guys saw it. It was just,
but on political, is there political gain here for the Republicans?
We don't know. I got to get to a break. We don't know, but I have a feeling you asked the right question, and that may or may not come out. All right, when we come back, the more significant stuff as it related to General Petraeus and what he'll be talking about tomorrow, and that is Benghazi and all that's attached to us, including one Susan Rice. Stay with us.